Morning. So I am live on YouTube here, guys, for the community. Hope you guys are hopping in. Again, TikTok, if you have questions, you can ask. I'll try to answer when I can. Let's talk about the news yesterday. So let's just kind of go through the SPY. I have our chart set up on regular trading hours. I'm going to go ahead and mute my indicators here. I know I have a few people who told me that sometimes it can be intimidating for those that are new, so I'll keep it muted here, and we'll just talk about some basic levels, right? So you guys can see that we are on the 1 hour. So let's go to the 2 minute because that's what we trade, and then let's find the market open yesterday. And I left some of my drawings yesterday so we can see how we played them, but this was our market open yesterday. You can see we had an initial push north. It was actually really awesome. We had someone in the room, Morgan, I'm going to call you out this time. She actually had called this. She said, well, isn't this like kind of like around a top kind of forming, right around here? When we go to the 1 minute, it almost kind of looked very inverted cup and handle, right? And so I told her, I said, okay, you're we were joking. I said, you're making a call. I said, I'm going to take your trade. So I actually took a put right here, and it played out really well. So it was an awesome call. So it was a good job. And then, as we continued to play, right, before we got into pre-news, you can see we saw, this bear flag forming here. So we did play some scalps down this way. And then one of the lines that we were watching, you can see was here, and I'll extend it out, and you can see how viable this line was. We were talking about this line because we said, okay, you had a little bit of a push, you kind of had a little bit of a parallel. So this little pump north was not surprising, right? And so we did have that breakout. It came through. It held this as support for a little bit. You can even see I had a arrow I was showing people when we were teaching. And so it did get that pump up. It did break down. We did create that lower low. But the key area that we were watching in the room was this yellow line. This was a pivot that we put out in the room, talking about if we cannot get above this line, it's likely going to be pretty bearish, because the news that comes out it's not necessarily that it's bullish, but the sentiment could be bullish depending on what he said and how the market took it, right? But regardless, we talked about this on the CPI. If the news that comes out, regardless how bullish it is not enough to push it past certain resistance levels, the market's going to see that as a sign of weakness, and they're going to take advantage of it. So look at how this played out. We had our run to top, came through, come across this way, right? So we have 1 o'clock here, comes across, right? None of these times we could break it, right? So that's already showing you that there's some bearish sentiment coming in. Our indicators called it perfectly with our bearish divergence on here. We did flip into red, which was a perfect play there. I mean, literally everything on our indicators, everything on what we had showed people said that, unless the news came out in a lot more bullish fashion, the market's showing weakness, and you can see it collapsed, right? So we did capture some puts on here. Many people took them in the rooms. And then we had it was funny because we had a level on my live trader. This was the live trader plays for yesterday. So I mean, we literally dominated the ranges for a news event. So you can see here, right, we had a call that played. So I had taken this put from here. We did take the call. Right, the put got out, and we got another continuation put. So, our automation just absolutely crushed the range that we had anticipated. So, I actually took a live trade also from here. I put it out in the room to be careful of the reversal. This is just it's a clear, they do this every news event, right? We have a push down, we have a push up, and then the true trend or range shows. Now, what causes this right here to continue to crash like that is, even in our pullback where it cleared a lot of that liquidity and then it began to push north, we could not create a higher high here, right? So we fell below this target by a lot. it began to collapse. Once it collapsed below this white line that we had as another one of our ranges, right, it just went downhill from there. So Nothing in here would have told you to be in a call. Aside from this area here, right? I did take a nice little bounce off of there, and that was just based off of prior support here. So I had anticipated even in a push down that we would get a little bit of a bounce, and then flipping into a put. I mean, it literally was like textbook iron condor play. So. But we had a good day in the room. Live Trader did well. People doing trades on their own did well. It was just it was a great day of trading the news. I love trading the news because it's one of the few days that you get enough volume, you can be correct, put in a trade, and within minutes you're up like $100, $200, $300. It's like, it's crazy. So one of the trades, it was like up like, I think almost $500 or $500 like within a matter of like, I think it was like 10 minutes, 20 minutes, something like that. It was crazy. So I hope you all did well. I mean, the ranges that we talked about hit pretty good. So I do see the Tesla in there, Victor. I will take a look at that in a minute. And so that's kind of our SPY range. So now let's talk about like a little bit of where we go from here. So let's look at our gap fill sniper. You can see obviously with this fall, this is the range that it calculates. So we are heavily a little bit heavy on the bearish side, but it's not quite calling the gap fill yet, right? So which could give us some more downside. Now, keep in mind, one of the things when you're doing this TA like this, right? What is it not picking up? It's not picking up the extended hours. I go back and forth between regular and extended, but when you want to measure true price action, you do have to go into that extended hours to get a true picture of kind of where we're at, right? Because you can see it shows that continuation of the fall. But we have this on 50 candles back, so it's a little more localized on what it's looking at. So we're not quite, it's actually starting to balance out a little bit, right? The one thing I want to point out here on the 2 minute, obviously you have lots of bullish divergence that's starting to pop through. So we're going to hit a support level here at some point. So we just need to figure out where that level is, right? So now when we go into the 5 minute, we still have some bullish divergence in there. But notice this, we're actually almost 30%. Now the gap fill sniper, I've told people when we designed it, of all the testing, you know, it was like hundreds of hours of testing, the 5 minute performed the best. And so the 5 minutes showing that we're actually starting to show some bullish gap fill sentiment, right? And our percentage separation is you know, getting up there. I mean, as far as percentage, right? I mean, about 25%. So typically, we talked about this in the room yesterday, about 30, if you go all the back testing, you go back, anytime we hit about 30%, there's a bounce coming. So what I mean by that, I love looking at the gap fill sniper, because if I see this, if I'm thinking put, right, that the sentiment is bearish, that's fine, but just we don't want to enter right away. Let it bounce a little bit, right? Let it fill that gap, let it close that gap, then enter that put, right? Otherwise, you're just gonna kind of hang out and wait for some support to be found, right? So when we look at this, I'm gonna go to let's go to the 1 hour and let's see where we're at on our EMA SMA. So I'm gonna mute the gap fill. I know that here, this is what we talked about yesterday when we were training in the room too. You can see that we are below this 21, right? And we talked about anytime you're below this 21, you want to be really careful on taking your calls, because it keeps you safe. So your 200 is here, your 21 SMA is here, and you can see we are really far from that. So a retest of this 21 is probably pretty likely at some point, right? Keep in mind that our RSI on the 1 hour is 14. So we're so oversold, it's not even funny. So let's zoom out and let's see what we have out here, right? So here you have a pivot of really strong support. You have a pivot of really strong support there. Let's pull back out, right? So we know this yellow line is really strong support, but we also had a ton of support within here too. So what I would recommend today is, in our price actions, literally right there, I would put a line here. I'm going to make this one teal. I'm actually going to clean up my lines. I'm going to clear a lot of these, but for the sake of time, I'll do that after. So this line right here is going to be pivotal to me, because if we stay below this line, right, what was, you know, support area can become resistance. Actually, I did not want that there. Always double check your stuff. I was basing off of this one, but that's not the one I wanted off of. I wanted it actually off of this one right here. yeah, this one was we've already blown past, right? So we're going off of this prior support, this being support, this being support, and then also where we bounced, right? So the 435.12 or so is what I'm going to watch, right? If we break above that and we start to show some strength, I'm going to watch this. We have a kind of we call this like a guideline, right? When you see this guideline flip, typically you're having some further bullishness, right? And so when you flip it orange, right, it calls that bearishness. So if I see this as an early indicator flip blue, and our candles get above it, the fact that we're way oversold, I'll know that, okay, I have some confirmation on a reversal, right? Then I can look to take that call. Without that, it's dangerous taking the call, right? Because we could just keep on falling. So if you really zoom out, like I've told you guys this for I don't know how long, and you look, I have a trend line down here all the way to 404, 407, that it could hit, right? I mean, we could definitely get to. And so part of what we had talked about in the room earlier is on the SPY. If you look at this, I want you guys, this is the line that I really want you to focus on. Take the bottom here, and I want you to pull it right there. Just line it up with that. That's your 2 peak. If we break this, you're clear to take some more puts, right? You can take some more puts. If we don't break this with some steam and we get some type of support up above this, it's going to bounce. I mean, it's just going to. So be really careful on that play. And the fact that we're extremely oversold, guys, I mean, we definitely could have a little further downside, but we're starting to see some sentiment flip back. Set your pivot line at, I'll open it up here. Oops, I double clicked it, and then right here, 435.12 or so is what I'm having that line. So use that as like a good pivot line. If when I say puts below that, I want to. That's my pivot line. If you're gonna take the trend line, the one that I just did, this one's more important. Take the low of June 26th at about 3 o'clock, and then the other low is August 18th, 9 a.m. and then mark those 2 lows. Now I want to caution people too, because I even did this a while back. When you switch to your regular hours, you're going to notice your lines are off sometimes, because sometimes you're charting your line on extended hours, which are very important. I mean, the price action is the price action. So, but that's the 2 pivot areas I'm going to take. I'm not going to ride this put down any further. I'm just not until we break this area. If we break this area here, which is 434 or so, I want to see a break, a pump, and then a retest of resistance. Then I'll ride that sucker down. Otherwise, I mean, we're just way too oversold for me to touch a put right now. That's for me. So, but always create your rules. Always have a plan. When we talk about it in the room, when we train, we teach people, you should never on any trade that you ever do, just enter it and then go, okay, I'm entered. Sure hope this wins, right? Always have a plan. Always have a what if. Okay, well, let's say I enter a put. What if the news comes out and we pump? What am I going to do? Are you just going to let it go bad? Are you going to just call it a dead trade? Are you going to just stop out? Or what's your plan? Always have a plan. Always be thinking of it, because we talked about this yesterday in depth in the room. What makes a decent trader is somebody that can find good entries, but what makes a great trader is somebody that can find entries and can get out of difficult situations. Because that's the hardest part, is when you're watching your account get negative and you're freaking out because you don't have a plan, and then you're trying to make a plan when you're emotional, and it's terrible. So hope that helps you guys all out on the news, how we played that, how we anticipated it, the range that we did. I mean, we did really well in the room, so I was very, very proud of everybody. So that's kind of the SPY. That's the range, guys. I did put out the ranges. I'm going to show you guys this one last time here on TikTok, and then I will not be covering this on the huddle anymore, because this is for our paid members. But in our Market Insights, we do put out data every morning. This time I just called it Market Update. This data here is going to tell you days that we are likely bullish, days that we are likely bearish, It's going to tell you resistance levels. It's going to tell you support levels, give you all the pivots, all of your guidance for the day that you need to trade. It's all going to be there. And so you guys, if you're in the room and you're watching this huddle or you're watching it on TikTok, start looking at the market insights, because I'm even going to not, after today, I'm likely not going to set up my ATA trader or my ATA, or I keep saying ATA, my live trader on the huddle. I'm not going to set that up. I'm just going to focus mostly TA. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to start doing this similar thing, but I'm also going to add my ranges that I'm setting my live trader. My live trader will be based off of this guidance and this guidance mixed with a little bit of indicators, right? So, but like I said, if you guys want to come into the room, I mean, you're going to you'll get all this data, but going forward, I won't be covering it on the huddle. So we'll just be doing basic TA stuff. So, so that's kind of, where I'm at on the SPY. Let's see what else we got here. So Victor, I know you asked about Tesla. I do see Ricky. I'm assuming you mean NVIDIA, but I see the I. I got you. Let's take a look at Tesla. I mean, just like everything else, it's just going to take they take a beating. But so Tesla, you can see if you follow this on the 1 hour, you can see how we had our actually Tesla. I remember this one. We talked about this. I think it was like Monday or something, right? And I said we kind of have a very head and shoulder kind of look, right? Although this is very fast. Remember, if for those of you that have been, I think Victor, I think I did this with you when you asked me about it. I said the thing about it here is it was interesting because it's larger potential head and shoulder ish, but it had a little mini inverse head and shoulder ish, right? And so we drew this line here, and I said if we break this, it's likely to pump, but I would be really careful around this shoulder. You can keep me honest, Victor. I think it was you. I said that, and look at that. That played out. I didn't trade this. I'm transparency, but it's cool to see how that played out, right? I mean, it wasn't very long lasting, but it did pump up. We did hit that shoulder. We lost steam, and bam, just collapsed. So, hopefully some of you guys got this push north, and even better yet, hopefully some of you guys rode that push south. As far as Tesla goes, you have the 21 really close to crossing the 200, which is going to be that death cross. So I'm going to look back and see when's the last time it did a death cross. So we had our golden cross back here around 236. I mean, look at last time it death crossed. It just, man, it kept going down. So it has not, but we have not been below it since 236. So what I would recommend if I'm playing Tesla is I would not be comfortable taking a call. I would take a call scalp because we are oversold a little bit, if this flipped green on my divergence hunter, and this right here flipped blue, then I would scalp it because there's enough room for me to get up to about 263. But I would be really careful if we do get a push up around 263 because you're likely to get a rejection there. Now the thing when I zoom out, you can see it's finding support here. It's not shocking because you have heavy resistance in this area. And look at how much price action there is in here, right? So it's not super surprising that it's holding support there. If it breaks that support, I mean, 242 is really, it's almost destined to head to that 242. So, I don't know. I would not be taking a call. I just wouldn't take a call on Tesla. Not right now. My call area would be, if I wanted to take it, would be somewhere in this green area here around 250, maybe 248 range, because I know that down here I have heavy support, or I'd want it to flip back above the 200. That's me, because you're in a bearish pattern. Typically this type of pattern is going to reclaim this side, right? So it's very possible that we come all the way back down to 248 or so. So taking a call in this end is just so dangerous. So I'd be really careful. Yeah, you see I have 242, my mark right here. So yeah, I would be really careful because it definitely has some more downside here. So somewhere in this range here is where I would look for to take that buy. And it may not even hit 242, right? You have some basic, you can take some basic trend lines like this, right? And it may come down, hit this, and jam up. So if you look at right now, actually just kind of quickly looking, if you pull this up, you can see why it found support right here. So you have just a basic trend line, right? That's holding it up. So you can use this as guidance. If we break below that, ride the put, right? If we continue to hold above this and these start to flip, right, then you can take a call scalp. So, but hope that helps on Tesla. Let's jump into Nvidia. I got about 10 minutes left. I'm not gonna cover my live trader range on the huddle, guys, in the community, but don't freak out. The moment this is done, I'm gonna type it all up in the insights, and then I'll update it for you guys. And then starting tomorrow, I'll get it out at the same time. So Nvidia. Well, my first thought on Nvidia is we broke our trend line. I want to pull back and see. It was a pretty viable. Only this two points there. We did break that. Next level of support is 403. Yeah, I would, if I'm trading Nvidia, I'm gonna mark this probably right here, and I'm not taking a call unless it gets down into this range, 403, between 403 and 407, something like that. Again, guys, overall for the market, I mean, we're everything is pretty much oversold. So even Nvidia is oversold. Let's check the harmonics. So the harmonic. Oh man, I did that again. Let me get this out of here. If I can grab the right one. There it goes. All right. So we did. Remember we talked about not getting that long call right down here. We did get the short call. We had this trend line talking about the squeeze. It just continued to bounce off this trend line that we did a while ago, but we are out of that trend line now. So I would not feel comfortable taking a call unless we had a little further pullback on this, or we had a break back into this channel, which I mean, it would need to get to like 425 or so before I would do it. Nobody said that, Clint, but I appreciate you feeling the need to correct it. So, but yeah, anyways, so Nvidia, let's see. Again, Nvidia, I keep doing the TA for Nvidia, guys, and I'm going to mute this one right here. But, I mean, we still have just such a massive gap to fill on Nvidia, so... but that's the ranges that I'm gonna watch. If you're trading, I would suggest to do the same. So you do also have some bullish divergence, so you got going on too, right? You got your lower lows. It hasn't called it yet, right? But you got your higher lows. So keep an eye on the bounces. Good old Nvidia. I actually don't trade. I traded it, or I traded Nvidia a little bit during the hype, but I don't trade Nvidia very much on that. So what else do we have? Anything else? Let's see. Nope, that's it. All right, let's jump into the dollar. Let's see how the dollar's doing. So the dollar's still showing some strength, looking very double top-ish here, so we'll see. I had this line here of resistance, so the dollar, you're going to want to watch this. If we do get a break below this 21 SMA, it's likely going to pull down. It would break this neckline, right, which would pull it down, which would give us our bounce in the markets. Let's see, gap fill, sniper. If you're following the settings, I like to do 50-50. All right, so we have 9% separation. Bullish, right? So not quite set up for a gap fill yet. There's some gap fill marks down here, but we've been a little heavy on the bullish side, so could see that pullback. But we definitely, I think we're destined to hit this range up in here. But the zone tracker's calling some pretty heavy resistance in here, so we might see that pullback here soon. I haven't really talked about crypto much. Not many people have been asking about it. But you can see the line's still playing out pretty well. I mean, it literally rejected right off that line. We are below the 200 and the Bollingers are turning red, so likely some further downside on that. So anything else you guys want me to look at? Otherwise, I'm going to do, like I said, the live trader settings, guys. We had a great day yesterday. This was all 100% automated. We took a call. We took another continuation call that protected this put. And so we took the win on the call and we took the win on the put. And we took the continuation put down here. So just an overall great day, actually, for the live trader ranges. But I will set this up in the room. If you are not able to join the room, just look out for it in the level here under the market insights. So I'm gonna cut it off. We'll send out the room here information here soon in about 5 minutes.